So in this talk, I will briefly review the rapid changes in the Arctic and talk about the extreme weather in China. And in this talk, I would also like to address the Arctic's role in driving extreme events in China. Rapid changes in the Arctic now is very clear, but the warming in the Arctic has been accelerated after the late 1990s. And the warming rate in the Arctic is much more rapid now, and at a much larger rate than global warming. The sea ice decline has also been very rapid after the late 1990s. When we see the warming in the Arctic, concurrently we see the cooling at mid-latitudes. Particularly we see the cooling in the middle part and eastern part of Russia. For China, we found there were 8 very cold surge events in China after the 1950s, but there were 5 of them occurred after the 1990s. So when the Arctic warming is becoming much more rapid. One typical example is the snow disaster in 2008 that occurred in January 2008. This snow disaster caused a big loss in China. 20 provinces affected, and the loss in total is about 152 billion Chinese yuan. And also about 100 million people were affected by this event. And this event occurred just before the Chinese New Year. And Chinese New Year is the most important festival in China. Almost everybody has to go home to stay with their family to celebrate this festival. And you can see on the middle part in the lower panel is in the Guangzhou train station. A lot of people stay there and could not get to the train to go home. They have had to walk on icy highway to their home. A lot of studies in China attribute extreme events to forcing in the tropical region. But for this time, emerging evidence suggested this could be caused by the anomaly in the circulation at high latitudes around the Arctic region, like polar vortex or Arctic oscillation. Not only in China, but also in some other countries, there were some other also very severe extreme events. Like in the USA and Canada, there was just another very cold event. In January 2019, brutal cold weather hit the US and Canada. So I'm sure a lot of people still remember these very cold events. And also for Russia, in the summer, there was a very severe heat wave events. So in some parts of Russia, the temperature raised to 42 degrees Celsius, about 108 degrees Fahrenheit. So we cannot be entirely sure if these extreme events were caused by the changes in the Arctic. But that can suggest there were more extreme events now in this world at mid-latitude. So growing evidence suggested more effects of Arctic changes on the extreme events in China, including the extreme rainfall in China, typhoon in the Western Pacific region, and freezing rain and cold surge events, frequencies. All of these things are likely related to the changes in Arctic. But there is an urgent need for us to have a more complete understanding of what causes these events. Is Arctic really playing a critical role in driving these extreme events? In China, we have started to explore the mechanism. The sea ice anomaly in the Arctic region can generate Rossby waves in these slides. So as a summary, I would like to stress again, we need to have more efforts to observe the changes in the Arctic. And also we need more efforts to understand why such changes are happening in the Arctic region. And also more efforts to have a more understanding of how these changes influence China and other countries at mid-latitudes. At the end, I would like to show Xue Long again in a different way. It's great to see Xue Long is now available for our Arctic cruise. We do hope we will soon have Xue Long 3 for our Arctic research. Thank you very much.